So if you're a founder, I know you obsess over your product, right? But what about its name? We're about to dive into why your startup's name isn't just some label. It's actually one of your most powerful tools for growth. And that's really the core idea here. Before anyone even tries your product, before they meet your team, before they even see your pitch deck, they hear your name. It's your first, and sometimes your only, chance to make a real connection with customers, investors, and all that talent you want to hire.
Get this, a full 35% of startups fail because of poor market fit or just a general lack of clarity. And believe it or not, a confusing or forgettable name is a direct contributor to that number. The stakes are just incredibly high, and getting the name wrong can be that very first misstep on a path to failure. Okay, so let's flip this around. Instead of being a liability, your name needs to be a strategic asset. This isn't just some fun, creative exercise. It's a huge business decision, one with really tangible impacts on where your company is headed. Let's look at a few reasons why. A Princeton study found it takes just 1/10 of a second, a blink of an eye, to form a first impression. While your brand name works on that exact same lightning-fast timescale. It's an instant gut check for your audience. Does it sound trustworthy, innovative, or just plain confusing? You don't get a do-over on that first impression.
What this really tells us is that clarity equals trust. It's that simple. When an investor can easily say your name and remember it, it feels more familiar, more tangible, and frankly, a lot more fundable. A simple name just removes friction at every single step, including when you're trying to raise money.
Airbnb is the perfect case study for how a name can unlock scale. Airbed and breakfast was super literal, yeah, but it was also kind of clunky and it really boxed them in. Airbnb, on the other hand, is short, it's modern, and it's abstract enough to stand for a huge global hospitality brand, not just a room with an air mattress. The name had to evolve to match their ambition.
Okay, so how do you actually find a name that does all of this heavy lifting? This is where having a framework is so valuable. We're going to walk through Branisto's 3R model, which is a simple but honestly an incredibly powerful way to create and test names that are built to help you grow.
So the framework is built on these 3 pillars: relevant, remarkable, and resilient. Think of each one as a filter that helps you get from a huge long list of ideas down to a name that actually works. Let's break them down one by one.
First up, we've got relevant. This just means your name has to mean something. It's got to connect to the very core of what you're doing, your mission, the people you're trying to serve, or the feeling you want to create. A relevant name is the absolute foundation of your brand identity.
Stripe is such a great example of this. The word itself makes you think of clean lines, efficiency, that sort of swipe-like motion. It feels modern and it's perfectly aligned with their mission of building economic infrastructure for the internet. It just fits, you know?
Next up, a name has to be remarkable. Now, this doesn't mean it has to be wild or crazy. In this context, it literally means worthy of being remarked upon. It's simple, it's memorable, and it's easy to share. Because hey, if people can't say it or spell it, they're definitely not going to talk about it. Uber is the classic case study here. It's a real word that means super or the ultimate. It's short, it's punchy, it's easy to say in pretty much any language, and it just has this confident, bold feel to it. It's incredibly remarkable.
And finally, and this is the one a lot of founders miss, your name has to be resilient. You absolutely need a name that can grow with you. If your name is too literal or way too niche, it can totally trap you if you ever want to pivot or expand your product line down the road.
And there is no better example of resilience than Amazon. I mean, it was named after the largest river in the world, not something like booksonline.com. That name choice signaled huge ambition right from day one, and it gave them all the room they needed to become the everything store without ever feeling stuck. All right, so now that we know what makes a good name, it is just as important to understand what makes a bad one. Let's look at some of the most common naming traps that founders fall right into. These are the big ones: making it too complex, being way too descriptive, failing to do your basic homework, and completely ignoring the realities of the digital world. I'm telling you, each one of these can create massive friction for your startup.
Oh man, the story of the Chevy Nova is a legendary blunder, and it shows you exactly why you cannot skip cultural research. A simple check of how your name translates or how it's perceived in other key markets can save you from a huge and very public mistake. You really don't want to be trying to sell a car named No Go. This statistic is so revealing because it shows just how critical digital fit has become. In today's world, if you can't get the .com or a clean social media handle, your name might be dead on arrival. This is why so many successful startups literally invent names. It's a strategic move to find some clear digital territory.
All right, we've gone through the framework and the pitfalls. Now let's get practical. Here's a simple toolkit, just 4 key steps you can take to validate your name and make absolutely sure you're making the right choice.
The process itself is simple, but every step is essential. So start by using some AI tools to brainstorm a really wide range of ideas. Then, and this is crucial, validate your shortlist with real people, your target customers. While you're at it, run the technical checks for the domain and trademark availability, and finally, please don't forget that global check.
Okay, to pull this all together, we've got one final summary for you. Think of this as your last gut check before you commit to anything. It's the founder's checklist to run through before you go and print those business cards. Start with a big list, like 30 to 50 ideas. Then filter it hard with those 3 R's. Do your technical checks. Talk to your customers, and then ask yourself that really critical, resilient question. Will this name still work in 5 years? If the answer is yes, and it lines up with your brand strategy, you might just have a winner on your hands. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. Your name is your first pitch. It's a foundational asset that works for you 24/7. So don't rush it. Build a name that captures who you are today, but gives you all the room you need to become everything you hope to be tomorrow. So I'll leave you with this. What story will your name tell the world?